Hello, I'm Dr. Douglas DeMassa, and today is April 15th, 2020, and we had class today, and we went over camouflage belt and blue belt material. And with blue belt material, we started out with doing sweeps. And sweeps really have to work on your feet. So from here, you're going to do an inversion or an eversion of the foot. So I'm on my inside of my foot here. Then I'm going to sweep across the floor to the outside of my foot here this way. So I'm going to sweep across the floor, touching the floor that way, and going from an eversion to an inversion. And what I'm doing is I'm trying to get my foot here to sneak behind somebody or on the side of their foot this way, so I can then hook behind their heel and grab their foot and sweep underneath their foot and lift their foot up off and throw them off balance. So we can do it with a front foot. If I come in and sweep like that, or I can do it with the back foot here. Come in and I just come through, sweeping eversion to inversion, and then coming through that way. Now, this also brought up Ebbets foot drills, in which there are 6 of them, in which we worked on the proprioception of our feet with that. We're always doing that with our feet in martial arts. We're always barefoot, so we're always working on our proprioception of our feet. It works on to help us with our balance, to help us with our jumping, and we work on it in our stances. We worked on it in our sweeps. Good, but for those of you guys that don't know the Ebbets foot drill exercises, I'll briefly go over them now. I may even do a more in-depth, if you guys are interested, a more in-depth video on them. I can really give you a little bit more insight on it. But initially what you do is you can walk on the outsides of the edges of your feet. If you walk on the outside edges of your feet, you walk on the inside edges of the feet. Then you're going to walk with your toes out. So if you walk with your toes out, you're going to walk with your toes in. Good. And then you're going to walk backwards on the balls of your feet. And then you're going to walk forwards on your heels, lifting up those toes. Okay, so those are the six foot drill exercises. Very good for the feet. Even can protect you from having ankle injuries, also plantar fasciitis and shin splints. So moving on, we also worked on, talking about feet, spins, spin kicks. Our spin kicks, a lot of times we start to think about as we get older, as I am, we're getting older, and what happens is there's research out there that starts to say that we start to lean back a little bit. Our center of gravity leans back. We want to be more centered into our feet. But actually what you want to do is kind of move into the balls of your feet a little bit so that you have a little bit more ability. As soon as you go back this way, there's not that much room before all of a sudden, whoa, I lose my balance. So what happens is you want to have a little bit of center gravity to move a little bit forward so you're on the balls of your feet. Now, this is important for even an athletic stance if I'm going to spar, right? So if I'm going to do a spin kick, what we start to see is, and I shouldn't just say it in older population, I could also say, you know, I've seen this in the younger population that are trying to stabilize their knee. So what happens is you have a weak knee and you go to do a spin kick, okay? What happens is I see everybody do this. To stabilize the knee, they lock the knee out and they lean back onto, the only way to spin then is to spin on your heel. But that's really awkward because you're losing the proprioception from your feet, legs, and knee, and that all protects those joints. So when I go to spin, my knee is slightly bent. I'm going to lift up my heel and go on the ball of my foot where I can spin very nicely. And so today what we did was we did the spin heel kick and the spin hook kick. So the spin heel kick is with the leg going straight. Yesterday I was with the orange and the green, and I equated for them because of the material, they only know a spin crescent kick, which is this, and they know the spin side kick, which is this. So with that in mind, we look at the spin crescent kick. The spin crescent kick, my foot is pointed upward. And with the spin side kick, my foot is pointed sideways. So if I combine the two, if I keep the leg straight and I keep the foot sideways, I have a spin heel kick. That way. So now we move to advance to the camouflage and the blue belts, where now we're working on spin hook kick. Now spin hook kick is a little bit more challenging because what you're going to do is you're going to bend the knee, you're going to kick it out at a 45, and then hook through that way. So when I go to do a spin hook kick, I come around that way with it, and it's a nice snap. It's like a whip coming around. When I do my spin heel kick, it's like I'm swinging a baseball bat. So I'm going to take my leg's going to come around that way. And I'm going to hit with the heel, and I'm going to lock out my knee there. But if you're watching, I'm spinning on the ball of my foot this way. So I'm going to do that again with the hook kick. I'm using my heel as the stop. That stops me. So I'm going to do that again. Okay, so that's where we're working on proprioception in the feet. We're doing it all the time. And this is why I love doing the martial arts, because there's so many variations, so many different ways to do it. So rather than just doing this and then doing this, what are we doing? We're doing that. We're making applications to these things. We're making purpose. And the brain likes that as well. Plus, we are increasing the amount of, you can hear, the amount of force that I'm putting in. It's increasing my heart rate, it's pumping that blood, it's getting that blood to my brain. And when we do that and we combine it with cognitive strategies and we combine it with learning, we then make connections in the brain. And that is the secret behind NEURON-DO. Thank you for watching this video, and hopefully you can register and you can then start to begin your training. Come here.